Hello and welcome to new series! Yes, I'm starting a new science save, which will be very different from all of the ones that you have seen on my channel, and I'm gonna explain just how. So, we're selecting science save, of course we're gonna call it GrunfWorks, and we're gonna pick the flag that we all know and love. So, how will this be different? I'm gonna show you exactly how. So, first things first, the name of this episode is Road to Orbit, meaning I will be showing you everything you need to do in the science save in order to get successfully to orbit. And this video is not stopping until we successfully go to orbit, get all the science, and get back. So, as you saw, first I created a very basic craft, and I'm gonna be doing a little bit of explanation. So think about this, something between a tutorial on how to get to orbit and sort of a let's play, but it's more of that. So I'm gonna elaborate just briefly. So as you can see, first we are doing all the science that we can, and just a note, I'm not gonna min-max everything, although I'm gonna try to get as much science as possible, but I'm not gonna be, a perfectionist about it. So as you can tell, we are grabbing as much science as we can on this first go, because we want to unlock as many nodes and we want to get advance further with our research. So the format for this series will be, I take on the task that I will be announcing immediately when we launch the video. For example, this video will be going to orbit. And then I will be executing both the build, the fly, everything. And that differs completely from all of my previous saves in terms of that all of my saves are just chronological, time is advancing. So it's more like a story about the Kerbals and their endeavors and journeys to space. However, if you are a new guy who is actually playing KSP, or you're just, want to do how to do something, for example, how to come to the moon and land, there will be an episode for that. How to build a base and deploy it to Duna. There will be an episode about that, where I will just start, take all the necessary nodes that we have, construct the rovers, construct the Duna lander, get it over, land it, deploy, and then probably call it a day. Or if the plan was also returned, then return the vehicle and call it a day. Which means my video length will vary from 5 minutes to possibly an hour, I don't know. But I thought, from your sake, you guys will have a chance to see everything, start to finish. And as you can see, I'm just taking Jebediah on getting a lot of the science as much as possible, getting all that sweet science, and of course I will be accelerating the parts that typically take a long time and can be boring or repetitive. For example, as you can see here, when we are actually just going up and down, I will be accelerating this process quite a lot, and I'm accelerating the video I think 4 times so that we can actually do it a little bit faster. So ascent, even the building, you can actually see it on when I'm building. It's just being accelerated a little bit, so you can still follow, but we got a lot of things done, and I'm trying to cram it within the 30-minute format, but I'm still gonna show all the necessary components, so like interplanetary transfers, and also one very important thing, this game is fully stock except the visual mods and the Kerbal Engineer. So I have no other parts mods except the Kerbal Engineer, and I'm thinking of putting it even in the partless configuration. So I do have all the extensions, the Making History and the Breaking Ground, and those components I will use. However, everything else is just stock, and I'm not using no mods parts. So let me know in the comments below if that suits you. So as you can tell, what we are doing is just we're trying to get as much science as possible on this first flight, and this first flight was basically building a rocket, getting it to flying low, getting it to shores or any other biome, and just grabbing as much science as we can, storing everything, and once we get back we'll do also the surface sample and the EVA experiment, and then we will be recovering the craft to unlock all that sweet science. Oops, okay, Jeb, get out and let's do the science. So, crew report, Kerbin's shores, yep, there we go. Then we're gonna do a mystery goo. Alright, and then we're gonna get on the EVA and do the surface sample, which will be a little bit harder taking the fact that we are actually clinging for dear life. Yep, there we go. Surface sample, and then the EVA report. So, yeah. Alright. That should net us enough science where we should be able to recover. So, there we go, 52.9 science. That helps us to unlock the engineering because it has thermometer, the survivability because it has barometer and the heat shield, which we need, basic rocketry because it gives us liquid, engines, and then the general rocketry because that gives us the Reliant, bigger tanks, and the Thumper solid booster. Now, we're not going to need those that much, or we're going to actually take the stability. We cannot take both. So I'm going to take stability because of the decouplers and the rocket fins, which are really, really important to have. And in the next hop, we will be unlocking the advanced rocketry and whatnot. So, that was the first flight. Now, we're going to modify this rocket to actually either go to space or fly high. I don't know exactly which one. So let's see. We're putting more science experiments. So this rocket to space, it's planned to go to space. Kerbal Engineer, I'm going to place it here. There we go. Decoupler, we put 2 of these guys. 4, 8, no, 8. We put 6. And then we're going to put a swivel. So we put 4 fins, or yeah, we're going to put a few more. All right. So, that's it. As simple as that. Same rocket, more experiments. So, first we actually do the experiments. Log the temperature. Then we log the pressure because we haven't done so. So, those are the new 2 experiments and we want to obviously get the science out of it. Then we take the EVA. The reason for me doing the EVAs is to take the data out of this because we don't have that science part that collects everything. That's going to be coming a little bit later on. And the reason why I didn't want to construct super large rocket because we don't have struts yet. So means strut and auto strut don't work. If I tried to launch anything, it would just behave like a noodle. So there we go. Kicking the launch, and I'm keeping the thrust away to around 2.10, and our swivel, we just tilt it a little bit to the side, and we're not going to tilt it too much because the idea is that we will fall someplace in the water eventually. And now we're just doing another logged pressure, logged temperature while flying low over the shores. And the moment that we get up, and I'm hoping that we'll at least get flying high, if not even to space, to be able to perform all the other experiments that we have. Now, we have only 1 swivel engine, and it performs nicely, and the rocket is aerodynamically stable, so no surprises overall. Alright, jab. Yeah. In this series, I'm not gonna put too much emphasis on my Kerbals, as I do in my Let's Play, because in my Let's Play, I'm actually doing a lot more in terms of naming my Kerbals, making sure that my, patrons, YouTube members, and whatnot are basically present. Here, I'm just gonna focus on actually how-tos and so what do you need to do? So basically pointing the rocket, prograde, and as you can tell, I packed too little delta V to even get to space, but we are actually going flying high. So all the experiments that we can, mystery goo, pressure, barometer, and everything. I mean, in theory, we could have probably gone to space if I just pointed straight upwards, but then again, it doesn't matter. As I said, I'm not min-maxing everything. I'm not trying to rush it too much. I'm just, having a little casual play and gathering as much science as I can while doing so. So, EVA, of course, we're going to do everything we did. There we go. And let's see, review the data. Let's observe another mystery goo just in case. I don't think they're biome specific. It's basically space low. So, crew report, Kerbin's atmosphere. Yes, we have it. So, upper atmosphere for everything. Good. I'm just recording as much as I can. Then I get the jab out, collect science, and store them in their, capsule. Alright, so as we are approaching this, we're probably gonna decouple, turn orbit retrograde, and then just accelerate as we come down. But first things first. We might want to do some more experiments, so I'm going to just go on the EVA. We're flying high over the water, so I'm going to take the data out. I'm going to take the data from the pressure sensor, take the data from the thermometer. I'm going to board, which means we will be doing some duplication. That happens. And then we're going to be re-entering, or not re-entering because we never left the atmosphere, but we're going to just, accelerate to get through the thicker part of the atmosphere, because we haven't still collected the science out of the water biome. So there we go. For your convenience, this is accelerated 4 times, so you don't really need to see everything in real time. I don't want this video to drag too long. There we go. And when we get close, impact time, there we go. So now we go on an EVA, and I make sure that I do the EVA, pick up the science data from all of the sensors, collect the data, take the data out, and then we'll store the experiments, board, dump anyway. Alright, so we accelerate this until we splash down, because there is another set of experiments to be doing. Once we are splashed down, there we go. So we can do first the crew report, obviously. Then we're gonna do the mystery goo. Goo escapes into the water, you don't say. Temperature, there we go. Atmospheric pressure. Oh, I haven't taken out the pressure. Okay, then I'm gonna go EVA. I'm gonna take the data. Okay, and then I'm gonna log the pressure. Yeah, I cannot do that. I need to get in first. Okay, EVA report, good. Surface sample, good. Board, all right. And now we do the pressure. And we can actually recover the craft. That's all the science experiments that we could. Look at that, 103 science. We are sitting at 113. That's enough to get us into orbit. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the general rocketry and the basic science. The basic science will give us batteries, it will give us this science collector thingy, and it will give us materials bay. Then we're going to research the general rocketry and the advanced rocketry, I think. Let's just checking that I haven't forgotten anything. Flight control, not that important. So, important but not that important. This will give us the Terrier engine. So, now we have more or less, we still don't have the struts. That's something to, you know, be careful about. So, I'm going to do the following. I'm going to place the materials bay underneath, because there is another experiment that we can do. I'm going to place 2 of the power cells, because that gives us, you know, well, batteries. I'm going to place some more of the chutes, and that's about it. When it comes to... Oh, hold on. Did I mess up something with the chutes? Certainly looks like it. Okay, 2 of them. Does that look nice? Okay, that looks nice. All right. Then the rocket, we're going to be doing the Terrier engine on that. Hold on, why do I have the 2 tanks when I could have the big one? Hold on, let's put the bigger one. There we go. Then we're gonna put another couple of fuel tanks. I think 3 would suffice. Then we put the swivel, and then we need to be placing some more boosters. So first we place fins, and then we're gonna place 4 boosters, and I'm gonna place 4 of this Terrier boosters. I'm gonna place some antennas so we can transmit the science, and then I'm gonna be... So this will be the rocket that will hopefully get us into orbit. If you look at the delta V calculations, it's 4.2 thousand meters per second. So this is the reason why I actually had it that way. So now I'm not gonna do the material science. I'm just gonna kick off the boosters, and when they start going, when the surface velocity is around 70-ish, I'm just gonna gently nudge it to go eastwards. So, yeah, as you can see, gently nudging it, because right now I have little to no control whatsoever. The only thing that now that is controlling the pitch, yaw, and roll is the tiny reaction wheels of the capsule, and that's why you don't want to roll too much, because the velocity is still low and the acceleration isn't that high. So the reason why I'm tilting gently, okay, now the thrust to weight is around 2, so it should be more, you know, stable. We should no longer be gimbaling left or right that much. So the engines, the boosters are going to burn out in roughly 5 seconds, and when they do, we're going to kick the swivel. Then we're going to get back the control in terms of pitch, yaw, and everything. So there we go, hit it. Okay. A little bump on the road, it doesn't matter. As you can tell, we're not exactly equatorial, nor we need to be. The goal here is just getting into orbit, keeping it simple. So as you can tell, I am a little bit, you know, keeping my thrust to weight between 1.8 and 2, and I'm pitching roughly 45-ish degrees because our apoapsis is already at 26, and yeah. So this is roughly my ascent profile. Probably it's not ideal. I could have gone a little bit steeper, but it's okay. And as you can see, I throttled down a little bit because right now at thrust to weight 2 at the altitude of 25,000 meters, we are still combating the atmosphere. We're still not out of the thickest layer. Once we get to the 40-ish mark, then we'll be out of the thickest layer. And as you can tell, we do had some, you know, heat losses, basically, which is the rocket struggling against the bulk of the air to get above. So in theory we could have gone for a little bit steeper ascent, but it doesn't matter. As you can tell by the Kerbal Engineer on the top left corner, our apoapsis height is climbing over 80, which means we will be going to space. Now whether or not we will be going to orbit, that remains to be seen. I'm guessing we will. Okay, so when the apoapsis hit 100,000 meters, I have shut off the engine, and right now I'm gonna create a maneuver node at the apoapsis to circularize. You do it by, you left-click the apoapsis, add maneuver, and then just drag the prograde marker outwards, and to get an apoapsis on the bottom left corner of the maneuver node back to around 100 by 100 kilometer orbit. Now this fuel cell, which it says 895 meters per second, was a little bit misleading because we were still in atmosphere. The moment we got out of the atmosphere, you saw here the stages 4 and 3, we can now get to the orbit. So we're going to be conducting the science experiments, and we need to do them all, basically. Mystery goo, materials bay, pressure, crew report, and EVA report. And then now we have the science thingy, which we can actually just use it to pick up all of the necessary experiments and store them into the science capsule. So, as you can tell, we have an EVA report. Space just above Kerbin's water. So EVA report is sensitive to the biome. Alright, I've been playing with so many mods, I no longer know which one is sensitive to the biome, which one is not. So obviously EVA report is. Okay, so our burn will be starting in 40-ish seconds. We have pointed our craft maneuver prograde, and it will take 895 meters per second, and we have a total of 1,400, which means we will be able not only to get into the orbit, but we will maybe even reach the space high above biome, which usually I think goes around above, I don't know if it's 350 kilometers or 300 kilometers. Do let me know in the comments below, guys. That would help out a lot. So we have ignited our Terrier engine. We have collected all the science experiments that we could. They're all stored in the science capsule, and now we are burning until we circularize first. So crew report doesn't seem to be sensitive, at least I think not. Alright, so there we go, 99 by 108, and that's good enough. So what we want to be doing now is we want to check if there are any more science experiments, do a couple cool selfies, including the one, so crew report, space near Kerbin. So yeah, I guess it's not sensitive to atmospheric pressure scan, temperature scan, good. We're gonna do the EVA once again. We are still above water, so I don't think we should be getting anything else. Let's board back. And we're gonna pull all the science data, so experiment storage unit, collect all. And as you can see, we already have some duplicates, so yeah. Alright, so now what I want to do, I want to reach the space high biomes. How do I do that? I go by extending my orbit, and in theory the most effective place to burn would be our periapsis, but I want to run at the apoapsis because of the reasons I'm gonna show you later on. So we have extended, this would be like 4 million meters, which is too high, and you can tell by the red indicator of the burn we don't have that much. So, and we don't need that much, so I'm thinking to put my apoapsis around 1 million meters, that would be enough. And then I'm gonna point the craft orbit prograde, or sorry, maneuver prograde, which is indicated by the blue marker in the nav ball. And then we're gonna just skip to it. I really love this skip button, you know, to the maneuver, which is just in front of the 405.1 meter per second mark. There you go. I love this. By the way, the mods that I'm running is Astronomer's Visual Pack, for those that you might be wondering. It's just basically a visual pack, then we have Planet Shine, Scatter, and all those. So the burn is going to take 18 seconds, and that's going to put our apoapsis all the way up to 1 million meters. Screenshot? Yes. Alright, so once we actually get that, I don't think we even need to go that high, but I thought 1 million meters would give us a nice view over Kerbal and everything. There we go. So 1 million meters it is, and we still have 165 meters per second to deorbit. And that we're gonna do at the apoapsis. So the reason why I have chosen to burn on this side of the Kerbal was to put the periapsis just past the sunrise, so that when our craft re-enters, you guys don't watch it all being dark. You have a chance to seeing it nicely in the, you know, daylight. That's kind of the idea. So, alright, we are in space low above Kerbal. We already have that biome, so what are we gonna do here? Well, we're gonna do a selfie for the episode, you know. I turned on the light, turned the Jeb to look at the camera. Jeb, you're taking some cool selfies. There we go, look at him go. Amazing. There you go. You know, propaganda and marketing is all about our space program. The more marketing you do, the more popular space gets, the more funding we get. Fortunately enough, we're not playing in the career, so I don't need to care. However, some cool selfies are always welcome. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for a little bit of time acceleration. We're gonna just point the craft. I'm just turning it willy-nilly. Yeah, let's face it. I'm gonna close the doors because they bug the hell out of me. And then let's just go upwards till we get to the space high. And this is gonna be shown on the biome situation on the top right corner of my Kerbal Engineer. In space low, we're above grasslands, so actually I thought I might as well actually take out some, you know, science. So temperature, should I review the data? I'm gonna reset it. Let's log the temperature. Space near Kerbal, so that's one is not biome specific. Crew report, overwrite, yes. Space near, again, not biome specific. But EVA report, it is. Space just above Kerbal's mountains, so there's another experiment, and you don't really need to be collecting everything. Eventually you're gonna get them all, but it's just a matter of mystery goo. Space near Kerbal. Okay, so that one is not yet, so that one is not biome specific. Okay, good to know. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just once again collect all the data, and we're gonna accelerate the time warp. Oh, deserts. Another chance for an EVA report. EVA report, space above deserts. Thank you. Get back in. So once you actually see and manage to catch this biome change, I think that then it's good to have, but all in all, it doesn't really matter that much. It's a little bit of science. So, oh, in space high. So we have crossed the 250. So it was 250 threshold. There we go. Now we're gonna do all the science again. Collect all the data, and now let's see. Crew report, overwrite, yes please. Space over Kerbal, good. Review the data, press mat barometer, overwrite, yes. Okay, space high. Temperature, overwrite, yes, space high, great. And then I'm gonna be doing an EVA, and this EVA will hopefully give us everything that we need. 12 science, whoa, that's amazing. Alright. So, here we go. We have collected all the science that we could. So, what's there to do? Of course, an EVA in front of... Oh, look, we even have the moon in the sights. So, you guys, actually, I'm going to be turning the jab again, facing the camera. Look at the camera, Jeb, please. Oh, there's a moon in the background, the craft. Oh, this is going to be the screenshot for today's episode for sure. All right. And also, one really important thing to do is for you is, if possible, do hit that like button. It will ensure that Jebs get safely back to Kerbin. Other than that, yeah, smashing the like button will ensure the Jeb's safe return back to Kerbin. Yes, he depends on all those likes so that he could return safely, because his pilot says so. I guess so. Yeah. Alright, so let's grab, and now we will go all the way up to 1 million meters apoapsis, and I'm thinking while I'm here I want to do the deorbit burn immediately. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a maneuver node. So here I'm going to show you how to do the deorbit burn. Basically you place your burn orbit retrograde until you get the periapsis. I'm thinking around 30-ish kilometers, 35, that would be enough. You want it to be between 30 and 38, depending on the speed that you're coming. Since we're not going into the interplanetary speeds coming from Duna or anything, or even Moon, we don't need it to be, you know, exact. So there we go. We're gonna be turning the craft maneuver prograde, which coincides with the orbit retrograde. There we go. Look at the Kerbin looking beautiful. There we go. Alright, and the burn is gonna be happening, so I'm just gonna burn slowly until I get to 30. There we go. Oh! Oh, I pressed 5. Oh, wrong button press. Guys, did you hit that like? I sure as hell hope so. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Turning prograde. Alright, periapsis, we're gonna go. And you know, the thing is that the Z is right next to the X. So when I was saying, I'm gonna press the X, oh, and I press Z again. Yeah, you have to be kind of careful when you do that. So right now I'm gonna not do the Z again. I'm gonna just press it gently with the, yeah, I'm gonna press Control just to slow down gently. Okay, 35, I think that's good enough. All right, there we go. Phew! I almost ran out of juice. We have 55 meters per second to burn for, and, well, ultimately we don't need them, but it's still good that we have them. So, accelerating until the re-entry, and this is the reason why I was burning at the apoapsis and why I was burning on this side, because I wanted you guys to enjoy the re-entry on the sunny side. So, decelerating as much as we can, ditching the ascent stage, and look at this! Sunrise, and we're coming down. Perfect. Look at this. Beautiful. Coming. Okay. And for your convenience, as I promised, I'm accelerating everything so that you can still get to enjoy the re-entry and everything else. And then we're beginning coming and landing. So once we actually come and land, I'm going to wrap it up for this episode. And in the next one, I will be probably showing you how to come to the moon and maybe even land there. But yeah, that will be happening in the next episode, so you obviously know what to do. Let me know how you like this format. I'm thinking that this will be actually a well-received format, because people like to see everything, you know, it has a beginning, it has a, you know, flow at the end. And the next episode, if I manage to record it, should be at the end screen, as per my usual thing, on the top right corner. And I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, thank you very much, guys, for watching, and as soon as I perform the final experiments, which is the mystery goo, the crew report, the temperature scan, and the pressure scan, good, including the EVA report and the surface sample, good, and EVA report, beautiful. And then we board and we recover the craft, and we'll see how much science we got. So a total of 180. But that concludes it for this episode, guys. Hope you liked it, and I will be seeing you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and this is GrunfWorks signing off.